Welcome, friends. It's almost midnight, and you've found your way to the PikeCast. Come along as we careen through the catalog of the most formative horror writer of our young adult days, Christopher Pike. From adult perspectives, we'll revisit these YA books our parents probably would never have let us read had they known what lie inside. We tackle one book per episode in a freewheeling and unbiased chat. So grab your battered paperback, pull the flashlight from the kitchen drawer, climb under your bed covers, and devour a good book with us.
Greetings, fellow Pikers, and welcome to the PikeCast. I'm Cooper Beckett, and I'm thrilled to be joined by my lovely co-hosts.
Hi, I'm Cassie.
Hi, I'm Becca.
On this episode, we're digging into Christopher Pike's 1993 book, The Eternal Enemy. We're going to be dissecting it in great detail and spoiling each and every plot twist, so consider yourself warned. If you're enjoying the PikeCast, please leave us a review on the podcast service of your choice. We'd like to welcome this week's guest, a newbie to Pike, Patrick R. McDonough, producer, host of Dead Headspace, a co-host of Unburying the Dead, and editor of Killing Time with Silver Shamrock. Welcome, Patrick.
How's it going, everyone?
We're happy to have you here.
Happy
The last podcast we did just before we started the PikeCast was yours. That was fun.
Episode 40. It's received a lot of downloads. It's one of the most popular ones still, and I've had Brian Keene on. So yeah, people like you.
People like Pike, that's for sure.
Yep.
I was very awkward on that one, so it's kind of embarrassing, but it's okay. I'm glad.
You were not stopping.
Oh,
Becca.
thanks. Thanks, bud.
You always think you're very awkward, but people are listening, and they're not just listening for my obnoxious voice here. So, really.
The interesting thing about that day was, that was morning time for us. You guys had 2 episodes, and we had 2 episodes, which is not fun always.
That's a lot. Yeah. You can often just, blow your wad completely in the first recording and then have to recover. I think we were about to record our first episode, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had to call dibs on you guys first because I had a gut feeling.
Yeah, you don't want to go second. Well, we had the excitement of it being the first episode to carry us through, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to ask, we normally ask our guests questions, and normally they're about your history with Pike, but since you are a Pike newbie, this is your first Pike, correct?
Yep.
Well, I want to ask you, what was your formative horror like then? Because for so many of our guests, it was Christopher Pike. What would you consider the horror that got you to adulthood?
Well, that would be R.L. Stine for me. I was big into Goosebumps, the show, and the novels.
Do you have a particular Stine book?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna look on Google real quick so I don't butcher the name. It was the one at the amusement park. I can't think of it. Horror something.
Oh my god! It's my favorite too, and I can't think of it. Yeah,
Horrorland.
That's my favorite
Horrorland.
too in the movie.
It's called One Day at Horrorland, Part 1 and 2. Well, that's the VHS. Yeah, so
that we were friends for a reason.
Yeah, Goosebumps was a big thing. I'm a '90s kid, so I really fell for that, and I didn't really get big into Stephen King until I was in my 20s, and I actually didn't know who Pike was until Cassie introduced the name to me and Brennan, my co-host on Dead Headspace, when we had her on, and I don't know, it was a new world to me, and I like it. I really like this book. It's a good first book.
Well, then we should just get right into it, I think.
Okay.
Let's start with the back of the book. Would one of you ladies like to read the back of the book?
I gotcha. Okay. A VCR that could tape tomorrow's news. Rayla has just bought herself a new VCR. She sets a machine to tape a movie she plans to show at a party she is throwing. But instead of the movie, she gets the news, tomorrow's news. Soon, Rayla is regularly recording next week's news, even what is to happen in the far future. It's fun, at first, until she sees herself on the news and learns that there is no future for her. But can she change destiny? Can Rayla survive what is meant to be? Dun dun dun.
It's a little misleading.
I appreciate it.
I got you.
There is no far future news, and it's not next week's news. It's one of those puzzlers about why change it? Why you don't need to say next week's news? Why don't you say tomorrow's news?
Yeah. Did you
because on Saturday night she got Monday's news, so that's
okay. But it's not far future. There's that.
No, it is next week though. So
that's okay. Fair enough.
What is the? I don't know if you guys got the same cover as me, but if you got the one with the girl holding the remote, do you guys have that one? That cover?
Yeah, with the bald guy. With Patrick Stewart, yes.
Okay, well, is it me or does that girl look pretty much exactly like Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things?
Okay, I can vibe with it. I see it.
Yeah, I maybe that's Brian Kotsky, the artist, glimpsing the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His VCR
is it like
him
Stephen
all about
Colbert
her.
without his
11 years.
Yeah, it looks like Stephen Colbert. Oh my god!
Right?
Holy shit!
Specifically, Stephen Colbert from when he was on the Colbert Report. I think.
Yeah.
It's younger Republican bait Stephen Colbert.
Really
I do like that she's wearing pajamas. This adorable blue and yellow spotted pajamas here.
They look comfortable.
I'm digging the Animorphs thing going on behind Stephen Colbert.
Yes, I was gonna say that I love the Animorphs vibes with the morphing. I mean, he's not really morphing, but it looks like he could be.
But
you can't see that part. Yeah,
Right.
there's a weird pterodactyl or something off the book screen. I guess
this is completely off topic, but you mentioned Animorphs, and apparently the guy who did the artwork for Animorphs is selling prints on Etsy.
I
saw those.
So
yeah.
There's that.
Wow.
Now, if we can only get Brian Kotsky to sell prints of his covers,
that would be amazing. He would make a lot of money.
I know, right? Because everybody loves him.
Yeah.
There's not even I don't know about you guys, but I could not find a digital copy. Couldn't find an audiobook. Well, that's a market to tap into if I'm Christopher Pike.
It really is. We found an illicit set of PDFs. And I have been, because I'm really weird about not wanting to highlight in a physical book, I have been actively creating ebook versions for myself. I'm not distributing them. Basically, I'm building the best Christopher Pike ebook collection for myself that anyone has ever had.
That's pretty cool.
So this is it's an intriguing cover. I think we're distracted by the Patrick Stewart element of it.
That's where my eyes go.
But overall, I'd say our back of the book and the artwork reasonably accurately captures what's inside the first 2/3 of this book.
Yeah.
Because we're probably going to get into this quickly, but the first 2/3 are dramatically different than the final third.
Oh, it threw me off completely.
Threw me off completely as well.
I'm going to be honest. The book had me in the first part, and then we got to the end, and I was like, really?
Dude, there was a part I was reading, and I swear to you, I was like, Becca probably lost it here. Like, she was probably not into this part. There was a part, there was like a monologuing. Yes, and it was like sciencey too, and I was like, Becca's going to hate this. Oh my God.
I was side-eyeing it so bad. I was like, Adams, really? Do we have to talk about this?
Well, and not only was it an info drop, but it was an info drop in the way those extra scenes in I can't remember the last vampire's name.
Sita, yeah,
in her past, where it's like mostly just ballpark summary narration. And then suddenly we get a little bit of dialogue in there, but then now that is just summary narration. Like this, we're just going to sit down with grandfather. And I literally don't believe anyone calls their grandfather. I've never heard anyone actually do it.
I mean,
so unless I'm completely wrong here,
you could be like, "That's my grandfather," but yeah, you're not going to be.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, it's so weirdly formal. But before we get into that weird third act, let's talk about our characters. And I feel like the only way we can do it is to ignore the third act for now. Because otherwise we've got a lot of extra stuff going on. So let's talk about Rayla as a character.
Okay, can we so all of you read it as Rayla, just so we're clear?
Yeah.
I guess.
I read half the book as Rela and half the book as Rella. And
okay,
I was just going back and forth because I was like, I don't know what to call this girl. Like, I wish she had a normal, and I understand why she had the weird name. They explain it, but like, I literally went back and forth. I kept saying it, and I tried it out loud too. I was like, Rella. This isn't a name. Like, so then when you guys said Rayla, I was like, oh shit, they all had the same thing, and I did not. Oh no.
Well, it's okay. We can combine our answers. It's not like you had to make a decision before we recorded of how you're going to pronounce her name.
I'm glad you said that, Cassie, because like that's how I was too. And
wait, which one?
Where I said Rela, and then I went to Rella.
Oh, you did both. Okay.
And then I thought of relish. So I don't know.
Honestly, Cassie,
I didn't go that far.
I don't know that I had a pronunciation in mind until literally I just said the name.
Yeah, it sounded, well, when Becca read it, I was like, oh, Rayla, that sounds like, okay, that's a name. Like, that's a weird, like, sci-fi name. Like, that makes more sense than, like, half of Cinderella or, like, Rela, like, Rela. Like, what is that?
I know arena, that's RENA. So Rela. That makes it. Rella, I think you'd have to have another L in there.
I know. We've said it so many times that I don't even it's none of these are words.
Well, it is an acronym, as we all came to know. So, but for now, she's a real person.
Wait, what's the third act? I'm just kidding.
I mean, okay. So let me take the temperature of the room. Did we like this book?
Well, I like it because I like weird sci-fi shit.
Okay, and okay, I may be the only one who didn't like it then. Okay,
I liked it.
I like to take. No, I like to know where we're at here, but. First of all, I thought of you immediately, Cassie, because she has to have milk to have cookies.
Oh my God, milk on the first page. Like, why are you guys doing this to me?
And I don't know. I mean, Cheerios with lots of milk. I don't know why that made me uncomfortable. I think I was uncomfortable for you, Cassie. Because it's just odd to have lots of milk.
Why do you have to specify that you need lots of? I don't even finish the little milk that I give it.
Right.
You don't want dry ass Cheerios though.
But you never want more milk than you need.
You don't want them soggy and like warm, like.
Okay.
Ugh.
The fact that you use soggies for everyone does.
Oh, that's so. Oh, it's so gross to me. It just just think about it too. They just sit in this liquid, and you just slowly eat it this whole time. Like, it's not like noodles. It's not like chicken noodle. Like, they were dry to begin with, and now they get soggier and softer. The whole thing is so gross. I can't. I'm sorry. Whew.
You should write a short story about that.
just being uncomfortable with milk.
My trauma with milk.
Yeah, it seems very specific. Like, did you have leftover milk at some point?
Yeah. Okay. So it's funny you should say that. You want to hear the story about this? Is that I think I've traced it back.
I think our listeners want to know too. I think they're invested at this point.
When I was little, I used to really like milk, but I was very picky about it, and I would only have it with like ice. And so I had a glass of milk one night before bed, and I begged my mom for it, and I was watching TV, and I put it on the dresser next to the bed, which is taller than I am, and then I fell asleep. And I don't know why, I don't know what in God's name they were doing, my parents, like for the next week, that they did not move this glass.
Oh, God.
But a week went by and I completely forgot. And then I woke up in the middle of the night so thirsty. And I was like, for some reason in my child brain, I was like, I have milk. And so I got up and I stood up onto the dresser and I grabbed this cup and I like pushed it up to my face and went to take some heavy sips of it because I was very thirsty and it was like 2 a.m. I'm sorry, there's this solid mass of the most disgusting scented creamy, it was, it came down at my face. It came down at my face and it enveloped my nose. It went into my nose.
This was a therapy session.
I screamed so bad. I threw the cup. I screamed and like ran, and my mom woke up to me screaming about milk and just.
I need to tell you, Cassie, I had the exact same experience.
Did you? It went up your nose?
Well, no, I mean like the milk on the dresser.
It wasn't as traumatic. Then come on.
Well, no, I can't see. I like milk, but I can't drink it anywhere near its expiration date.
Oh, no, why would you? If
when we get anywhere near it, I start to smell that smell that I had when I drank expired thick milk in the middle of the night.
Oh, it's such a specific smell.
It is. Okay. I'm happy that we've unpacked that, and I'm happy that we have a shared trauma there, Cassie. I totally.
I love hearing the story. And Cooper's just like, yeah. I was just like, I felt like I was like spying on like a therapy session. He's just yeah, go on.
Yeah, right there with you. And now that we've alienated all of our listeners who enjoy milk or have not had such experience.
Good for milk. Good for them. They can have milk. Just brush your teeth before you come to my face. That's all I'm saying. Like, if you're going to come talk to me, do not have milk mouth. I
was going to say, how much are our listeners coming to your face?
I'm just saying, have you ever, when you talk to somebody with milk mouth too, it like, there's like a specific kind of drool that, I know. I'm just saying, I can't with milk.
No, are you guys talking about milk or something else?
Milk.
Literally milk. I'm not, this isn't like a joke or like code. I literally do not like milk that way.
I've been trying to figure out, are we really talking about milk? Because
Patrick.
Patrick, this is what you signed up for when you signed up to be on the PikeCast.
All these words.
Silently. He's like, is this a perverted thing, or should I make a joke here, or are they not? I don't know what to do.
No, I know Cooper's thoughts, and I have a good feeling I know Becca and Cassie's, so. And then she said, "Come into my face," and I'm like, "You shouldn't say it," but I already said it.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's the wording,
part we really jumped into the thirst section.
I did
with that comment.
I just meant approach me for conversation.
Listeners, when we are able to approach people again, if you are ever in Cassie's vicinity and you have drank some milk, perhaps you should wash your mouth out a little bit.
I don't want
those teeth.
I don't want any of my listeners coming in my face. That's fucking gross. I need a personal bubble. Hugs may be accepted.
Well, yeah, these days it's a little different anyway.
Yeah. And I got a black beard, so it'd stick out.
Good God. So I'm gonna wrestle us back. I know I encouraged it. I know I started it. I regretted it about halfway through. So I'm gonna bring it back. Okay. I really didn't like Rayla's. Now I can't pronounce it. Rayla's.
Relish if you get confused.
I mean, it's
relish if you're nasty.
So this is what happens when we record at night. I see.
I'm sorry.
I mean, could we be any more trite than? Most of all, I loved cookies and boys. I loved beautiful clothes and loud music.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I'm not going to disagree with any of that. I love all those things.
I love cookies.
No, that's... Okay, look, I do too. But it's not good narration. And a weird slam on sci-fi out of nowhere. I had no taste and could watch anything, even low-budget sci-fi films with no story and cheesy effects.
Again, I have to say same.
Okay. I mean, you can be on the same page as her, but yeah, okay.
I was vibing hard with her. I was straight
I
vibing.
liked her too. I thought she was funny. Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought
she was
like
cracking me
quirky
up.
and funny. Yeah.
Okay.
She's sassy.
Well, her nose is a button.
Aw.
Her smile is a bar of white chocolate.
Oh,
That was
okay.
weird to me because I didn't understand. I got confused by white chocolate and I was like, are her teeth brown? I don't know
Oh
why
my
that stumped me for a moment. I know it's so stupid, but I legit it pulled me out of the story and I was like, ew, wait, what?
I think my eyes like accidentally didn't see this part because I don't remember that at all.
This is part of her weird letter to Chris,
Oh,
where she
yeah.
just is telling him why he should be in love with her.
It was so weird.
And then we've got cookies, boys, movies, and popcorn. What a life!
Is she wrong though? Come on.
No, sure, okay. I mean, that's. I think you ladies must have really vibed with her.
For real. She is. She
So
is almost
was
an
it hard
Alexa
when you
to
found
that.
out she was a robot?
I mean, that's kind of hotter, honestly.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
wait,
was
that was
like,
weird of me
oh
to say.
shit, cool. No, because my first crush was Data from Star
okay.
Trek. So I was like, oh dang, like no wonder I like this girl. She's a robot. So yeah, I was into it. I was happy about it.
Okay, I mean,
What a twist.
I really
Well,
glad that we're
I
on
got-
the same like level right now.
Yeah.
you're on. Your brains must be producing Rayla waves.
Yes, for sure.
They're incoherent. They make people believe in butterflies and trees. I mean, what is this girl?
So that part was strange too, because I was like, girl, those are real things. Like
Yeah. You don't get to not believe in butterflies and trees. You just don't get to not believe in that.
I don't like how she said, "My name is Rayla," because we already know that from the back cover. So.
Well, I feel like it is a really poor writing opening when you begin your first person narration with "My name is."
Yeah,
I mean, it's
I feel-
just not great.
No, I feel like that's how I wrote when I started writing.
Yeah.
And
I also wrote. I have written a novel that is first person that begins with "My name is," and I know the first thing I did in the second draft is remove "My name is."
and he got paid for this. So. Good for him. Are the other books like this?
No,
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I mean, here's the thing.
the most pointed question. He just laughs and then he goes, "Are the other books like this?"
This is not my least favorite of the books
Oh my
we've read,
God.
but it is nowhere near my most enjoyed. It does have the weird sort of telling the story from midway through the story, and then eventually we're going to catch up to my narration. But then it takes us in such a weird extra direction that we're not talking about yet.
Yeah.
But I got a very who has seen The Room?
Is that the one with Brie Larson?
No, that's just
No,
Room.
that's
The
just
Room is
Room.
like a really
Okay.
bad one. I've seen it. I've seen both of those, but they're different. They're very different.
Yes, Room is very different.
Okay,
than
I've only seen the
Ballroom.
Brie Larson movie.
Okay.
No, that one's
so-
good.
Yeah.
The Room has Tommy Wiseau delivering some of the weirdest dialogue in the history of the world. And I got that from this moment. Yeah, I'm hilarious. People die of laughter around me all the time. Hey, I heard you're applying to Caltech. It's like there's no transition.
I
They're
mean,
like
just
non
changed-
sequiturs.
I'm glad she
Yeah,
was
we
feeling
just-
herself, though. She was like, I love me. I'm funny. And I was like, I love you, too.
I know you are so funny, girl. Am I
Yeah.
going to Caltech? Cool.
Good
I was
for
like,
you.
this funny girl is so interested in herself, and now she's so interested in me. Oh my god, like that's great.
All right.
She is definitely going
let's-
down as one of my faves. I'm just saying. Like,
Really?
You know,
yeah.
It's funny too because that I feel like that's how like sometimes I talk if I'm in a super like if I've had a lot of caffeine, like I'm like, hey, do you like unicorns? By the way, do you know that I wanted to go to med school when I was 5 years old? And also I wanted to be a unicorn too, but back to unicorns again, because they have really cool horns. And then also I have these shoes and they're really pink.
That's
and
legit
I just go
how I
on
tell a
and on.
story. Like, you can ask Jack.
Yeah.
Like, I'll try to tell her something, and then I'll just go off about something totally different before, like, making myself back to where I needed to be.
Eventually you'll find your way.
Yeah, eventually.
Okay, I feel like, okay, I think I'm getting it here.
That I'm Rayla.
Rayla is Tina Belcher.
Oh, yeah.
And so are you two.
Yeah. Well, okay. So to be fair, I'm a little bit more Louise than Tina, but I do solidly agree. I have a bit of that butt love in me.
We love butts. Speaking of butts, Mel Gibson, yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I knew about this butt thing, and honestly, you know, as a young man growing up during the VCR era, it was all about who we can find naked for a glimpse. Like
Did you slow motion it?
Well, I didn't have 4 heads on my VCR.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that was a thing. I learned so much about VCRs from this book. I was like, what in the fucking Hydra hell is this?
Yeah. It was a thing. It was totally a thing, because with 2 heads, it was all staticky. With 4 heads, you could actually see the content.
When they say head, what does it look like?
It looks like an actual head.
Are they like
reading the tape? That's what it is.
It's a what?
It's what's reading the tape. It's
so
the
it's
actual...
something inside. So it just looks like any other, like it's a VCR.
No, it looks identical to other VCRs.
Okay.
So I am fully from the VCR era here. Okay, I had a VCR until, I was 99, I think, when I got my first DVD player. So here's my question for you. Do you think that Christopher Pike toned down the thing that people wanted to see? Because when I knew women looking at naked people on the VCR, it was Tom Cruise in All the Right Moves, because you could see his penis.
Wait, so what's the question?
Yeah, no, I'm not sure what the question is, because this is before my time. I am of the age where I can just Google penis and see.
Well,
penis.
yes, I know. So my question is it Mel Gibson's butt, which you really don't need the slow motion to see? It's right there, because penis would be too much. I guess that's what I'm asking.
Okay, so why did he use Tom Cruise's penis? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, why? I don't want to freeze the movie on a wang either. Like, I don't want to just look at that. Like on the screen, I'd be like, booty, you know? Like, I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, right. Why would I slow mo the wang? Like, I know what that looks like. I don't want to see that go in slow motion. Come on.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah. But the butt, then you're like, yeah, gluteus maximus. Like, you're into it. I can never tell what's going to get cut or not.
I'm just really. This is fascinating.
It's like nighttime conversations. We're learning a lot about each other today.
It is.
It's like a slumber party.
Will those end in fire? So be careful.
Right. Oh no.
And they actually, there was a reference that I thought felt like a reference to Slumber Party, where they said they would set Debbie on fire. Oh no!
I actually have.
Here it is.
I have my book on
You're giving
page.
up without a fight. If he brings her, we'll spill something on her lap. We'll set her on fire. We'll accidentally drown her in a bathtub.
Loves it.
That's not.
I mean, that's a lot of anger for Debbie, who doesn't really have a part at all in
then
this
they find
book.
out she's just the cousin. That's embarrassing.
She's the cousin. Like, we go out of our way to learn how hot Debbie is, but she has no. There is no character there. Like, I don't think she even has really dialogue.
Yeah, she's not in it very long. Hey, we skipped past the Circuit City part.
I know. Let's get back to Christopher Perry.
Okay.
Well, he's character number 2.
My bad.
I don't have a lot about Christopher for being such an important character. He is extremely passive, but then also very science information drop guy.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I have a problem with this book is we have characters, but we really don't. Like Stacy is a character, but she literally does nothing in the story.
Right. Besides starting to catch
Debbie
people on
is a
fire.
character that does nothing in the story. Eddie is a character that does nothing in the story.
Yeah, there's not
Christopher,
a lot of depth. There's no character arcs either.
and Christopher is only really a character because he's also grandfather. I'm going to go ahead and just say that. We're just going to peel off that Band-Aid right away.
Okay, but is it weird that she's in love with her grandfather, Jenny?
Yeah.
It is weird.
The fuck?
Not only is she in love with him, she feels that if we pass by without becoming lovers, my life will have been wasted.
Doesn't she say that these are her memories from like the human version?
But are they?
I don't know.
Because he's her grandfather in the human version.
It's creepy. It's real creepy.
She'd already decided she was going to marry him.
That would have been a really awkward family reunion.
So their little
just feels
babies would be
so odd. Like, I mean, are we meant to think that she has a connection with him because she can't remember anything from her robot life or from her other life, and she just feels a connection?
probably, and she would have to justify it.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. She also has an awful lot of friends for someone who was essentially born 3 months ago.
Well, she's hilarious.
Right.
Sure, but
I
I
wouldn't
don't
love
believe
her.
I could have ever invited 40 friends to my movie party.
I feel
I
like
wouldn't
Stacy
want to.
played a hand at like inviting people.
Still, 40 friends?
That's a lot.
Stacy's
Especially to a
popular
party
girl.
where you're going to play Trivial Pursuit and guess that theme song and watch a 1950s monster movie that she taped off of TV in the middle of the night.
Honestly, that's exactly the kind of party I want to go to.
Okay, I guess I just don't get this book because you two both seem to really just
So sorry.
be on board with
I just
all
realized
of
every
it.
time you say something, I like shoot it down like I would do that. I'm so
I don't care,
sorry.
Cooper. I love it.
I mean, it's
So
just
sorry.
clearly I'm not in the right space.
I
with
think
it.
the 40 people is just like a Pike thing, though, because you remember on that one where they were on the boat and we were like, that doesn't seem like there should be
Oh,
that
yes,
many
right.
kids there. Yeah. And so I think that's just like, he's like, yeah, it's like 1,000,000 degrees colder than it should be. And it's like, there's like 50 more people than there should be. Like, I think he goes for like these drastic things. Just, like, what 14-year-old's going to question it? I fucking didn't. Like, so.
I will concede the point.
I can't tell if Becca and mostly Becca's fucking with you or not, Coop.
I think they are, but that's fine.
Yeah.
We learned
It's
in like
fun.
a couple episodes ago that it's fun to disagree with Cooper sometimes too. Especially about certain characters that he doesn't like, and we really do. It just ends up that way, and it's really funny.
That's only
We're here
really
for a good
happened
time.
once. Let's be serious. We've
Well,
only
now we're here
really
again.
disagreed once.
This is true. Yeah, Jeremy and Rayla can go off into the sunset together.
Aw.
I don't dislike Rayla. I just feel like she's behaving exactly as I would assume a brand new baby robot girl from the future would behave. How about that?
So it's believable.
You did a good
Sure.
job.
Yeah.
What
Okay,
I'm
I'll
hearing
give
is
you believable.
You get the story, Cooper.
Let's talk about Stacy, who has a lot of description for very little character.
She likes cookies.
She is one of
too.
those people who had no time lag between her brain and her tongue. She said exactly what was on her mind. Some people thought she was rude. They didn't know how sensitive she was.
Oh, she's like Cordelia.
She is, except she's big boned.
Oh, right.
And
She's the one. She's the chubby
she's
one.
the
that they
chubby
mentioned,
person
who likes
in the
donuts.
book.
Oh my god, when they were talking about donuts, I was like, that sounds so good. I want those donuts.
I want donuts too.
And without milk too. Without milk. That's my girl.
Without a single swallow of milk.
Yes.
She had no lack of boys calling her, though. They felt safe doing so, I suppose, since she went out with anybody who asked. She was a giving soul and by no means a virgin. This is a weird confluence of character traits because essentially she's being called a fat, non-discriminatory whore by our narrator.
Is this meant for like young teenagers?
Our podcast or this book?
The book.
It's meant for, 12, 13, 14, yeah.
Oh, man. Young 12, 13-year-old me, anyways, was a fucking nerd and terrified of girls. If I read that, I'd be like, whoa, what?
I mean, that's really what Pike does to us in these books as a teenager, is he gives us these, oh, my God, I'm really...
It doesn't seem bad though, like how you're saying.
No,
like,
it doesn't. It's weirdly not at all.
Yeah, like if I had read this as a little, like a 12, 13-year-old girl, I would have been like, okay, cool. Like some girls go out and have a bunch of sex and that's fine. Like good for her. Like she's doing her own thing with her donuts and her sex parties. Like good for her. I thought that like
donuts.
And and I thought it was like a nice, like, because she didn't say it in a mean way and it's her like best friend.
No, not at
all.
I was like, it is her best friend. Yeah.
And I do agree that the way she gave the different parts of her personality, some of them did not seem too favorable, but I felt like they were probably all like accurate to a person. Like all parts of a person are not favorable. Like sometimes there are like things that don't sound so great when you say them. And she was just like a robot. She was just saying it how it was, which I really liked. The twist.
Speaking of saying it how it is, poor Debbie, who again doesn't have a character beyond being cousin, is stunning in a short black dress, her blonde hair all over the place, her lips on fire from her bright red lipstick. Even though she was cute as pie, I knew Debbie couldn't count the number of brain cells inside her skull on two hands, even if one of the hands held a pocket calculator.
Does she even know? Like, didn't Debbie just move in too? Like, does she even know her enough to know that she's
Debbie at all, except that Debbie theoretically is an obstacle to her fucking her grandfather.
God.
When you put it that way,
let's be very clear that that's what's happening here.
Debbie would be a funny character in the film adaptation where you would just see her getting, made fun of and stuff. I mean, it might sound fucked up, but Debbie's fodder essentially in this book.
She is. She's not a character at all.
She's just a clown with flames.
I felt bad for her that she had to show up to this party to basically be an extra body at the party.
It was so weird too that he's like, "Can I bring my friend? Why didn't you fucking ask to invite your cousin? Like, why did you say your friend?" Yeah, that part was so strange. And also this poor girl, she's like, she just moved here too. So she's like, oh, finally, I'm getting invited. I'm going to a party with a bunch of kids. Like, and then she gets there and this other girl's just like staring daggers at her the whole time. And then she's like, I'm his cousin. And she's like, oh shit, you're his cousin? Okay, let's be friends. Never mind. Like, how awkward. Like, what a situation.
It really is. And it's, and again, it doesn't sound like a great party. I mean, no. I get that you both want to go to it, or maybe just Becca.
I want to play the theme song games. I thought that was fun.
Well, I used to have those CDs of TV theme songs, so I get that. But I was a real nerd that no one wanted to come to my parties. So
I would have went as long as you told me about the CDs.
At least you had parties there, Cooper.
Cooper's like, you want to come to my party? Becca's like, nah. He's like, I got CDs with theme songs. Becca's like, sign me up.
I'm there. Do you have donuts and cookies and milk?
There better be food, no milk, unless it's chocolate. I like chocolate. Chocolate milk.
How about this,
milk is good,
Cassie? We'll bring the milk. We'll bring the cookies out to the living room. The milk stays in the kitchen.
Yes, that sounds good.
I've now just got. I've captured Cassie.
That makes the kitchen a no Cassie zone, though.
Well, I mean, really, it's a movie party. We should be in the living room.
That's true. That's fair. I have no business in the kitchen.
I'll bring you all the food out into the living room besides the milk. You'll be fine.
Okay, our next character, who's not a character, really, is Eddie Farmer, who is about 20 easy California living years old.
That's cute.
And is very confident in himself because he later says the words, "Can you imagine that? Turning down Eddie Farmer?"
What a dumb name.
I missed
I love
that.
a person
He
who
does.
loves himself.
Well, I actually thought he was referring to someone else because I figured, could he really be that obnoxious?
He's like Johnny Bravo. I kind of like it. It's funny.
Like that guy from Seinfeld, Jimmy.
Oh, yeah, Jimmy.
Jimmy's getting angry.
Yeah. Oh, that's been a long time.
Becky and Cassie are like, all right, old guys.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so Eddie
Never seen
Farmer
Seinfeld.
works
I
at
was still
Circuit City.
picturing him like at Circuit City, walking by like a reflection, being like, "Man, I'm pretty," and just like going to sell some VCRs.
And like doing that little muscle thing that Johnny Bravo does, just
Yes,
randomly.
with his arms up.
He is-
I just tried to
Yes.
do it, but you guys can't see it. Yeah.
The
Okay. I
buff
hit myself. Sorry.
Californian VCR salesman at Circuit City.
Can we talk about Circuit City real quick? I've been
Yeah.
waiting for this.
I love Circuit City. I bought my first
Patrick's so
computer
excited
at
about
Circuit
this.
City.
He's like, "Oh my god, fuck yeah!" I remember earlier he was so upset. He's like, "We missed Circuit City."
I'm so excited. Okay, I'm excited to hear this.
Okay, let's go, Pat.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but where I lived up in Massachusetts, I found the best selection of horror DVDs because it wasn't.
At Circuit City.
Yeah, Circuit City. I found like all the Freddy and Jason films there, and I wanted to work there. I wanted to work at KB Toys as well. Everywhere I wanted to work
KB
closed
Toys.
down. It's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Blockbuster was the third one that I wanted to work at as a kid.
Well, basically, this is so. I think we focused too much on McDonald's early on, but Pike's trick is direct references to important stores and restaurants in a young person's life at that time.
Oh, that's smart.
Because it's Blockbuster Video. He wants a Haagen-Dazs milkshake. He goes to Circuit City. You know, we had Pizza Hut, we've had McDonald's, but this is all these are the days of Pike's life. These are the places that his teenagers are hanging out at. Really.
How old is he? Kevin McFadden.
He was born in New York City in 55.
Oh, okay.
So that makes him
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna
66,
attempt
right?
that. Is that right?
So yeah, I mean this puts him in in the he's in his 40s here. That's why all his adults are 40 for some reason. 45. You know, Reverend Spencer Lindquist is 45 with already white hair, which, you know, again makes me feel really old because he's 3 years older than me. But he looks 10 years older. I feel bad for Reverend Spencer Lindquist. He seems like a really good guy.
I thought he was going to be like a scary reverend with like
I did too.
brimstone and fire and stuff.
But no,
he was
he's
just basic.
he's just a good guy.
Yeah.
And he's one of the rare parents in Pike. Because we don't get parents. Like, Rayla doesn't even really have parents. Because we only spend time with her and Grandpa in the future. But we have Reverend Lindquist, who gives her $500 without question.
Which that was so unbelievable.
And bets on a sports game with her. Sports game. That sounds... I know sports. So does anyone have any other thoughts on our characters here?
Ed's a douchebag. Wait, can we swear on here?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
All right, fuck Eddie.
He's...
Dude, if I heard some guy talking like that to a girl and then pushing on it, I don't care who that guy is. I'll probably get my ass beat, but I'll tell that guy to go fuck off.
Well, he immediately pounces on Stacy.
Yeah, that's close to, I don't know, man, kind of a stalkerish sort of characteristic there.
Yeah, he showed up uninvited to her VCR party.
Yeah, that's okay. Definitely stalker.
That is so creepy. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, he saw her address, right?
He got her address off the check, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's really uncomfortable there.
And then he shows up and he's like, "Is this your boyfriend?" She's like, "Nah, I didn't have one. I just didn't want to go out with you." And he's like, "Oh, okay. Well, where's your friend?"
Okay, wait. So Rayla has been in this world for 3 months, right?
I think so. She was just like walking around naked, right?
In a morgue gown, because she was in the morgue, not the hospital.
That's all she was wearing.
So 3 months. She already has a job at the library. She's made enough money to buy a $200 VCR. I don't understand this book.
VCRs were $200.
Oh, VCRs were a lot more. My father,
Oh my God.
my father bought one of the first VCRs over $1,000.
Oh my God! No, thank you.
What?
Wow.
I believe the first VCR I ever bought was over $200.
Oh my God, man. She was like walking through. She's like, "There's so many models and some of them are so expensive." And I was like, "What are you like? What VCRs? What?"
Well,
I did not know.
My first DVD player was over $400.
Jeez.
Whoa. What the
My first Blu-ray player was $500.
Oh my God. Look, Cooper, we need to have a talk. You need to just wait till these things have been out for a while
I
until
can't.
Black
This
Friday.
is
And then
all
on Black
I have.
Friday.
Cassie.
That's okay. That's fair. Sometimes I'm like that with books. I'm like, I don't care. I need that book.
This is all I really spend money on is
That's fair.
the awesome new electronic equipment.
That's fair. If that's your one thing that you're like, I gotta get this, then
Yeah,
it's like, get it when it's out. Yeah.
I don't take fancy, expensive trips. I don't. I don't do anything anymore. Really, we've all had a lost year here, but I have bought expensive VCRs, and honestly, $280 for a 4-head VCR in 1993. That's pretty much the price.
That's
I'll
insane.
say.
I would never.
I know. I can't even. Whew.
Right.
That's so much money, man. My phone is probably like one of the most, but I've had it for like a few years now, so it's not even like a newer iPhone now. But like when I got my phone, it was like $900 and something, and I was like, "It's what?" And they're like, "Oh, you'll pay it off every month." And I was like, "I don't know about this. Like, how much each month?" And it was like, it's like $20 or something. So I was like, "Okay, I guess so." But
break
that's a lot
it
of
down
money.
by month for me.
Yeah, like it's wild. And like so my first time ever buying, I don't think that I bought a VCR, but I do remember buying a DVD player. And my first ones of those and of a Blu-ray player were like used. Like I got them from pawn shops. So I think that's too why it's for me like,
okay, yeah.
I can't fathom buying them new, let alone buying them like so new that they had just been released. Like I'm like, "Oh my God, like that's wild. Like that's crazy to me." But for like now that I'm an adult and like there are video games, if I saved in advance, I'd be like, "Yeah, I know I'm getting that when it comes out." So right. I get that. Yeah. $200 for a VCR though. I'm still just.
I really love it. We're going to go take a commercial break. I want you to just really reflect on the expense of VCRs, Cassie, because
how much were the VHS tapes?
Well, here's the thing. So most VHS were not meant for sell-through, which means they were being sold to rental places, not to the public. So they would cost like $99 because the rental places would buy them in bulk and get discounts. But then there were I worked at multiple video stores. Then there was sell-through, which meant they were for the public. And those would be about $20 to $25 when first released.
Okay. That sounds because I remember when I would buy DVDs when I was younger, like they were like $20 for a new DVD.
Yeah.
So $99 though. So you're telling me that in the olden days when you first got a VHS or VCR when it like first came out, I don't even. Days. It's not. No, I just mean when the VCR came out. I mean like not.
Cooper,
recently,
you old sack of shit.
I am the old guy here. Yeah.
Shut up. That's not what I meant. I meant like in the days where VCR was new. People in general, not even just you, but people were expected to pay upwards of $200 to buy a thing that they could only watch rented movies on.
Well, the idea behind VCRs was to tape things off TV.
Oh, so you have blank ones. That explains that. Okay, because my dad had shelves and shelves of Star Trek taped onto things, and I was like, "Who does this?"
Because
okay, everybody
you could
did
time
that.
shift for the first time. You didn't have to be home to watch something.
Like a DVR. Oh, that's so. Oh, the future is fantastic. I'm glad I live now, though. I'm just saying. I'm
Me
so
too,
thankful
actually,
for streaming.
you know.
You know what? I'm not going to shit talk when they bring out, because every time they release a new movie and they're like $20 and you can rent it online. And I'm like, who the fuck do you think you are? This puts it in perspective to me.
Yeah,
$99 VHS.
And I want you to also take into consideration that, you know, $100 or $280 in 1993 is vastly more expensive in today's dollars.
Yeah. Oh.
So
what about the first cell phones? I've seen a Radio Shack ad.
Oh, those were $1,000. Yeah, those were really expensive.
Couldn't even text, and it had a pull-up antenna. You know.
So we're going to take a commercial break while everybody thinks about the vast march of time and the expenses of media, and we'll be back with more on the PikeCast.
$200.
Yeah. Wow, friends. Where else can you get this kind of programming than the PikeCast? Nowhere. That's where. But we're trying to keep the lights on here. If you like what you're hearing and want it to keep happening, jump over to our Patreon at thepikecast.com/Patreon and throw us a few bucks to join our private Discord server. Higher tiers get books, stickers, bookmarks, and even personalized shirts. That's thepikecast.com/Patreon.
Once, Osgood and Frost were the up-and-coming stars of the burgeoning paranormal investigation TV show craze before a hoax put an end to their friendship, partnership, and television careers. Now, over a decade later, Prudence Osgood is a barely functioning alcoholic ghost hunter for hire. Her yearning for mystery and adventure is reignited when she receives a cryptic, untraceable email. She can't resist embarking on an investigation that tugs threads, winding through a sinister series of disappearances, her former partner's family, and a night 20 years ago when a semi blew a yellow light and nearly killed her. Reviewers are calling Osgood Is Gone a masterfully vulnerable and relatable 21st century horror story, and a bourbon-soaked supernatural mystery with sparkling dialogue that sticks the landing on LGBT characters, and main character Prudence Osgood, as tortured as she is clever, broken in all the best ways, and a true heroine for our times. Buy it today at Osgood Is Gone as a paperback, ebook, or audiobook narrated by me, JJ Ronvier.
Welcome back to the PikeCast. Now we move into our section, Remember Me, where we talk about the plot. In the future, which is not that far in the future right now, it's like 12 years from now. But in the future, people can become cyborgs by grafting microchips into their cells that make them smarter and better and able to travel through time, which makes no sense at all. Then, to get back at her grandfather for creating a race of cyborgs that are making things better for humans by getting rid of humans, Sarah, who is Rayla, decides to kill herself, become a cyborg, travel back in time with her memories intact, and what? For whatever reason, record the next day's news for no reason that makes any sense with that plot that I just gave you. The entire first third, which I really enjoyed, actually doesn't make any sense once we know the last third.
That's true.
I'm open to interpretation here.
Talking about, like, we were talking about the book, and I was all up for it. But the moment you got into that plot, you brought in science. And it's like, no more. I'm out.
Like, there's interesting stuff. Like, all of Pike's speculative fiction like that is interesting. But really, there's no reason for her to have done most of the things she did. Because the book is asking us to believe that she is waking up in the middle of the night and, for whatever reason, recording the future onto the tapes by pressing her finger on the tape, apparently. But why is she recording that future onto them? It doesn't make any sense. What is she hoping to be? Does she not? She doesn't remember the future, so she doesn't remember why she came back in time. Like, I really just don't get this book at all anymore. And the more I talk about it, the less I understand what we're supposed to get out of this book.
Hey, what if he was like completely stoned and wrote this and he got paid for it?
I mean, you are very much enjoying the fact that he got paid for it, aren't you?
I wouldn't mind getting paid for some of my first stuff either.
I get you. I get you. But that is the plot, right?
Yeah.
I think
it doesn't make any sense.
It makes a lot of sense, you guys. Listen, hear me out.
Okay, yeah. I want it to make sense. I really do, Becca.
Okay, so we start off the book with Rayla, our supposed teenage protagonist. Mm-hmm. I can't take myself seriously. Hold on. Okay, anyway. And so Rayla, she goes to Circuit City and she gets herself a VCR, yeah? And then she takes it home and she's like, okay, we are going to record this movie called It Comes From Outer Space. Was that the movie that we're talking about today? Is that the movie?
Yes.
Or, so she's like, I'm going to record this and play it at my hot new party where Christopher, my grandfather, will be here. And I'm sorry.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay. Keep going.
So they're at the party, right? And she wants to play this movie. It's either that or it's going to be Lethal Weapon because she wants to look at Mel Gibson's buns. Because apparently that's the thing in this book. So then she puts on the movie and then she sees the news and she's like, what the shit is this? And so she turns it off really, really fast, right? And then
like really fast, like disturbingly really fast.
It's like, how did she know what was going to happen? It's like, okay, no, let's talk about it. So she turned it off so fast that it's like she was suspicious of what was going to be on the news. Like, why was she was so uncomfortable with what was going to be on the news. Like, she knew what was going to be on the news, but she's supposed to not know what's going to be on the news because she doesn't know who she is at the moment, you know? Anyway, so then I can't remember what happens after that. Okay, so then she cuts her finger while she's cutting up some carrots, and she makes a joke, and she's like, make sure there's no ring on that carrot, because I don't know if I lost my finger. And then,
yeah.
I don't really know.
I forgot about that part.
Yeah, I highlighted it, because I thought it was kind of funny, because she's hilarious. And then what happens was he wants to take her to the hospital, and she's like, no. And so they don't go to the hospital, do they? They go to Blockbuster, I think.
They go to Blockbuster instead of the hospital, yes.
Yeah. Do you want to chime in, Cassie? Because I'm starting to lose it.
No. You were doing good, I think. I think it was, I think with the part that I think isn't super clarified in the book is that the reason she came from the future was because humanity has a bad end. So she's trying to go back to stop her grandfather from giving humanity that bad end, because Christopher, a younger version of her grandfather, does something. He invents something. He does something that leads to a bad end every time. And so in the future, he's trying to change it. She kills herself, goes back in time, but she doesn't remember it because in going back in time, her memory got screwed up. So she doesn't remember that she needs to kill her grandfather. She's just drawn to Christopher without knowing why. And because she's just like a teenage girl surrounded by teenagers, she's like, oh, like I'm in love with him. Like, this is it. I have feelings for him because he's familiar to me. So the VCR thing is very weird. And I do agree with you that it's like random because like, why does she need $20,000? Like, why does she need to go save these people cleaning the windows? But I think it was just, yeah, and she only saves one of them, and she flies to San Francisco, like she flies to a place to do it. Like it's so bizarre, but like I think that stuff it was just filler, like random things he had to put in there for her to start remembering things and figuring out that she had these powers as a cyborg so that she could complete her mission. But then she records herself and her story so that after she dies, Christopher can see it, her grandfather, and be like, okay, I'm never going to become this man. Like she's changed the future. Now humanity has a better end.
Which creates a complete paradox, the most famous paradox, the bootstrap paradox, which means none of this could have happened in the first place.
Is that some timey-wimey Doctor Who stuff?
Well, because then she wouldn't have existed, probably.
Well, yeah, her grandfather doesn't do it. She doesn't get bored. Yeah, I mean, it's
and it takes out
there's
nothing.
I mean,
so she dies at the end, so that she just sees this, like she does stop existing, I guess.
The eternal enemy.
Yeah, it's very weird and convoluted.
The eternal enemy is fear.
Yep.
I thought it was time. Because that would make sense, but it's fear for some reason.
There's a good line that there's only one line in there that I highlighted early on about Christopher. He says, or Rila, I can't remember. It doesn't have a dialogue tag. It says, I worry that we'll become so dependent on computers that we'll cease to think for ourselves. We'll lose our humanity. So it kind of rings true.
Yeah.
I love it.
Maybe that's the eternal enemy, though. The point is it's not fear. Because fear has nothing to do with any of the bad shit going down in this book.
Time is, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, it was just a shitty future, like pollution and like no food and nuclear wars. And like...
it feels very prescient, in fact.
Yeah, it does.
But so, yeah, okay. I'm glad. I'm glad it's not just me. It doesn't actually make sense, and I wish it did, because I like the idea of a VCR that'll tape tomorrow. That's a cool plot.
It's very early edition, and I love it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember that show. Yeah.
I loved that show.
But unfortunately, we don't actually have that story because it's not a VCR that'll tape tomorrow. It's a robot from the future that's weirdly making references to the future. That's it. That's the whole thing. And in fact, she even asks, like, it's makes so little sense that the narration calls it out. What about the VCR? It was just a vehicle that allowed me to tap into my true abilities. In my cyborg mind, I could reach into the databanks of the cosmos and pull out anything I needed to know. That's great, but she didn't need to know any of that. So even the fact that the book needs to tell us why a plot point happened, it's not actually making sense and telling us why that plot point happened.
They talked about the Terminator. That plot made sense.
They did. and here's the thing about Pike is I'm always trying to pick out the hidden foreshadowing to what's going to be the main plot of it.
Yeah.
And I was completely off in every one of them. So it was surprising. I didn't know these things were going to happen, but it was just so odd overall.
Do you guys think he was stoned when he wrote this? Because I'm seriously thinking he was.
I'm thinking he was writing very quickly and combined two different plots into one book just to finish, honestly.
Yeah, he wrote a lot of books. That much I do know.
So this is 93.
Holy
I think
shit.
he had 3 books in 93.
I think he said this is his 93rd book.
Oh, no. But he's written something like 60 books, I'm pretty sure. So
that's a lot.
But in the early days of the 90s, he was writing 2-3 books a year.
So you want me to do this again? Are you ready? And now we're moving on to the eternal enemy.
Ooh, she said the thing. It's a thing. The name.
Yeah.
It is. We've reached the eternal enemy part of the eternal enemy, which we now know is fear.
I thought it was the grandfather.
So you think the grandfather's the enemy?
No. Initially, when I was reading it, in the middle of it, I thought that it was this weirdo that was trying to kill her.
And it is a weirdo trying to kill her. It's just not the weirdo we thought.
Yeah.
Good old Patrick Stewart was trying to kill her.
With a briefcase full of flesh.
Yeah. Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
But he's future Christopher, right?
He is.
Yeah,
way future Christopher from the year 3000 something.
So that's fuckable grandpa also.
Oh, gross.
That's a really important plot point, guys. Are you guys ready for it?
I mean, they're both cyborgs, and I mean, grandfather is completely a robot at this point.
Yeah,
I think. He's not even cyborg anymore. He's a robot.
I said he died.
Well, they have to die to become these things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the next phase of humanity.
Becca, what was the big reveal or the big?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was waiting. Sorry. So we forgot to talk about how she's seen her own death on the VCR. And
oh yeah, right.
I want to mention it because we all know that I love blood and gore, and I really enjoyed this report, which went the mutilated remains of 18-year-old Rayla Lindquist were found this morning in the home of her adopted father, the Reverend Spencer Lindquist. Police, who first arrived at the scene, said that it appeared as if her body had been torn apart by a psychotic with a saw and a hammer. An autopsy is underway to pinpoint the exact cause of death. Mr. Lindquist reported that his daughter had spoken of a stranger hanging around their house when he wasn't home a few days prior to her death. That was about as gory as it gets, so I'm done reading all that. But
well, I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that because those news reports are so oddly specific. Like it later says, it appears as if his neck was broken by a very strong man, police say. And Christopher's parents have reported that their son left the house at approximately 9 the previous night to go to the aid of Rayla, who had called from her job from the library complaining about being followed by a man. I mean, it's almost as though he'd never seen the news. Because it's so odd. There are so many things in this book that just feel off to me, and that's we don't get a lot of guts, though. Unfortunately, we don't get a lot of our many favorite sections here. Like there is some stuff for the thirst section, but it's not really a sexy book. I mean, so can we determine what the antagonist is in this book?
Can you imagine if there was a lot of sexy time in there and then we find out that's her grandfather? Ew, dude. So gross.
Maybe it's intentionally not sexy for this reason.
Really, all of the sexuality in this book is aimed at Mel Gibson's butt.
Yeah,
it's true.
And Rayla likes to talk about her luscious body.
Yes. If you got it.
Yeah.
Want it.
Well, let's move to thirst then, because that it's worth progressing here. I have. Are you pulling my leg? I giggled. I can't believe what I said next. The thought of the guy had terrified me the day before, and now I was verbally seducing him. No, but I'd like to pull on it.
I don't get it.
Verbally seducing with that?
Yeah, that's her verbal seduction.
Leg?
Well, I mean, Becca, I don't want to surprise you here, but I don't think she was actually talking about pulling his leg.
Oh, are we talking about his penis? Okay.
I was trying to envision positions in which you might need to pull a leg. And I was like, maybe this, and then they're doing this. And so if you have to hold a leg over here, that's pulling, that's what she means. But I don't know. It was kind of vague.
Leg, also known as penis. I've never heard that before.
Makes more sense. Yeah. No. And it's her grandfather's, come on.
All of this
that's what she wants. She
when
wants
we
him to
filter
come on
it through Grandpa, and that just It makes everything else even creepier, and not creepy in a fun way. Creepy in a what?
Yeah.
Yeah, and when we talked about Ed being creepy, when he shows up at the house later with Stacy, because why not just bring a character that wasn't involved in the story at all back? He says, "Hey, I've got to show Rayla Mel Gibson's butt in slow motion. I swear to you, Stacy, Rayla only got the 4 heads because she wanted to enjoy dirty films to the max. You should have seen her mouth watering when I described it."
Thirsty.
This guy is creepy as hell.
Yeah, that is so creepy. I'd be like, "Excuse me, sir.
Can you please leave?"
Yeah.
I mean, she did invite him over that time.
But
only because she was afraid of creepy grandfather guy. Oh, and they wanted to go to Denny's. So there's another reference to a place in Christopher Pike here. Does anyone have anything else for Thirst? That's all I've got.
Why would Stacy stay with that guy?
That's a good question.
If I don't know, they're best friends, I certainly would tell mine, like, hey, by the way, he showed up and I didn't even give him my address. It's kind of weird. We already
know that Stacy is not very discerning.
That's true. She's very friendly.
Well, let's move into Die Softly, moralizing and problematic elements. I've got 2 vaguely problematic things. Ed also is weird about just throwing casually homelessness out. Another one of our poor homeless. We get them all the time wanting to buy sophisticated electronic equipment. That just rubbed me the wrong way. And then this one, "Can I kiss you?" I smiled. "You're not supposed to ask. You're just supposed to do it."
I had that one too. I was like, no.
And I remember when that was the prevailing theme, was you are not supposed to ask because you ruin things if you ask. But no, that was a bad idea, and that has always been a bad idea. Yeah. But that's all I got for moralizing and problematic. Like, there wasn't much moralizing in this at all. As we said, with Stacy being sexually adventurous, there's no negative to that in this book. So it's an interesting change for Pike because there's none of a lot of the specifics that we get otherwise.
Is this a weird first book?
It is a very weird first book, I think.
Oh, okay.
Pat, I think you would definitely like some of his like thriller and horror ones a lot more. This is
Monster.
Monster.
You should read Monster.
You should read Monster.
Okay.
Well, let's move into the season of passage. I do have a surprising amount of good writing from this one, considering how negative I have been this entire episode. But before I do that, does anyone have any of their own?
No, I'm going to rely on you to carry me.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry, when I'm reading it, like if something stands out to me, I'll mark it. But if I like try to intentionally find stuff, it feels like I'm doing homework. So I usually don't have stuff unless they jump out to me themselves.
Okay, that's fair. Well, there came a long interval when I floated, when I was carried through the air on impersonal currents of wind, or perhaps the even more indifferent arms of machines. From one of Rayla's dreams. This one I thought you ladies would love, honestly. How do you like your popcorn? Dry, plain, without butter? I paused. How do you like your girls? The same.
I didn't get that. Yeah, that stuck out to me too.
I just thought that was just delightful. I too like no. Dry, plain, without butter. That's how he likes his girls. Christopher is a ladies' man. But we did get, I get why you liked Rayla. Like how old are you, young lady? 21. My ass. I beamed. Your ass is 21 too? What month was it born?
Oh my God, I love Rayla.
Me too, yeah.
Very confident.
Yeah, very, very confident. I mean, she is an eternal cyborg now, so, you know.
I got ID'd for beer when I was 18, and I just ended up saying, oh, fuck, I forgot my wallet. And the lady got upset with me for cursing in her store. So I got to say, she's a lot more confident than a younger me.
And that's at a casino.
Yeah.
Like, she's walking into a casino in that confident.
It's ballsy.
Here's some other stuff I really liked. Here it was also dark. No synapses with shooting molecular bolts of lightning. Not a single neuron glowed with the memory of days spent beneath the sun. The pathways of consciousness were as silent as my pleas for help. There was life, yet not life as I knew it. Really, I think all my favorite stuff comes from her dreams.
Her dreams were pretty well written, to be honest.
They were. I wish they were. Like, they were really intensely creepy. Like, there's the scariest alien abduction on film is from a movie called Fire in the Sky. And it reminded me of that. Like, there's just a lot of shit happening in these dreams, and you don't have any idea why it's happening. And that is creepy.
Sorry.
That was a very cute hiccup.
Sorry.
I stood at the center of the wheel of creation, and every inch of the rim was visible simultaneously. A turn, and I was brought to where it all had started. The wonder of it all was the endless paradox. I was bigger than the biggest, smaller than the smallest. I really like that a lot. And then we have the Big Bang. I did faintly remember the brilliant light that erupted from the tiny point. In the midst of the horror had been great and profound beauty. Just, I mean, these are good. This is good writing here. I watched the bright flame of the future leave to burn a scar across the path of human destiny.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool line.
Yeah.
I like it.
I think he just got lost. I think he lost the plot in this book. I think
he's like, let's talk about space and science. It's fine.
Yeah. let me pontificate about the future of science for a while. Like for 8 pages. Just direct narration. Well, then that brings us to the worst writing. I have no idea how to process this line, so I'm looking forward to yours. I blushed. It was sweet and sentimental of him to speak of cake, which was very sweet, while talking to me.
That's cute.
I like it.
So, is she happy that he's talking about cake in general to her?
Because it's sweet.
Like cake.
Well, yes.
I also think it's sweet. I feel like there's a lot of baked good references in this book, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. Cookies, donuts, cake. Yes. Also, maybe cake means something else. Maybe they're talking about something else.
Well, you never know. Get some Sugar Sisters involved.
Oh, love them.
Oh, that was a different direction than I'm.
Oh, okay. I think Cassie was thinking something else, but maybe we are talking about cocaine. I don't know.
No, I was thinking a dirty thing.
That's okay. That's what I thought.
Okay.
Hold on. What were you thinking?
Did you know that song, Cake? The Cake song?
I don't.
Is it Cake by the Ocean? Is that what we're talking about?
I don't know.
I don't actually know the words to the song, but I just know Cake by the Ocean.
No.
But
I don't actually know who sings it. They're talking about cake, but the whole time they're not talking about cake.
I guess I don't technically know what Cake by the Ocean is about, so I'm not really sure.
Actually, though, doesn't that sound so peaceful, like eating a piece of cake right next to the ocean?
That would be really, as long as like sand and water doesn't get in my cake.
No, because that would be too gritty, like really crunchy cake.
Yeah, gross.
A crumb cake. Oh my gosh, if you put a crumb cake down on the beach, it would like blend in.
Yeah.
Wow.
It would.
Are you glad you brought up the cake? The cake line?
I'm really glad I brought up cake. Okay. Moving on. So there's a Pikeism I'm noticing more and more, that students in Pike's work just don't go to school when they don't want to. She says, I'd had enough of education for the day. I was going home. That wasn't unusual for me. If I felt like ditching, I ditched. Just like they can just have whatever they want to drink because nobody seems to care. Like if I ditched school, they'd call my parents immediately.
Oh, I skipped school a lot. Nobody called my parents.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the school district then. Because they would get on the phone immediately after you're not in class.
Oh, yeah. We had a lot of kids. Like, I don't even know if they knew who was there and who wasn't. Like, they took roll, but, like, I mean, you know, there's more than one occasion where they're, like, called me, and then they call a friend, and I'm like, here. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. We do have another Pike noir moment that I really enjoyed. He looked so cute. Kind of like a Christmas package that I wanted to tear the wrappings off to see what was inside.
That's kind of gory.
That's also predatory. Yeah. Now that I think it was the way I read it, but yeah, that could be gory. We have some Pike female body appreciation in the weirdest possible place too, where Rayla has just saved this woman from plunging to her death. And she was a surprisingly attractive woman, blonde, voluptuous, with pouty red lips and green eyes. Why she was washing windows 30 stories above ground made no sense to me. Uh-huh.
So she's attractive, so she couldn't wash a window?
Apparently. There's some weird judginess there, I think. It's, yeah. Okay, so does anyone have anything before we move into the last act?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So Patrick, as our guest,
okay,
you get to go first with the last act.
All right.
We're rating out of 5 Pikes.
Oh, man. Hit me with parameters because...
Well, it's harder with you because let's say, you read a lot of R.L. Stine, okay?
Yeah.
Let's say you're judging it against that.
Okay.
You're not judging it against, literature and Stephen King because it is pulpy and it is teenage and it's all these things.
Oh, it's purely entertainment level.
Yeah. Basically what we're saying is our favorite Christopher Pike books are going to be 5. Our least favorite are 1. We're not going to judge them all on the middle of the scale. How's that?
Yeah, okay. I was just thinking about what my answer would be. Well, pure entertainment for me. I know Becca flat out said she was into this, but I like science.
I hate science.
And that's cool. I mean...
Yeah, there's no quicker way to lose Becca than starting to describe sciencey things in a book.
It's so weird because I actually love science, but I hate talking or reading about it.
It's so funny is it doesn't even have to get super sciencey. Sometimes if you're just like blood has iron, Becca's like, no.
It's like, I'm done.
The moment the word atom was spoken, I was like, bye. I'm sorry, Patrick.
So
you're rating, sorry.
It's all good. So purely on an entertainment value, I just got to preface this by saying that it has nothing to do with the plot because that's a whole other subject to talk about. Purely as an entertainment value, it's 5 for me because I like science. I like weird. This was campy. I hope he's going for that. I like it because it's as campy as a 50s sci-fi movie. It's weird as hell. It doesn't. I'm close to calling the third act jarring. You can make a great case for that, but like purely as an entertainment value, that one parameter, I'm giving it 5 because it was fun.
Nice.
Oh, okay, okay.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I thought about what I'm going to add on as my little rating thing, and I'm sorry. It made me laugh. I know. Okay, go.
I am going to give it I have nothing creative. Apparently Cassie has something real good up her sleeve.
I'm not worried I'm
she
building it up too
sounds like
much.
she really has something coming.
I'm going to give it just 4 chocolate chip
4?
cookies.
Okay. Okay.
Because I did. Okay, I hate science. I mean, okay, I love science. Like, that info dump at the end really, like, kind of threw me off. But, if you take away the whole third act, I was, like, here for it. And I think it's, like, super hot that she was a cyborg. So, I'm gonna give it 4 cookies.
4 cookies. Cassie, what do you got?
Yes, I'm gonna give it 3.5 fuckable grandpas.
Oh my!
Wait, is that a real rating now? Huh, I give it 5 fuckable grandpas.
Yeah, So
it's a lemon party.
Overall, both Becca and Cassie have started to cease using pikes at all as the rating and just giving it other things. So
yeah, we pick things from the book, random things.
I forgot already.
Well, I gave it 5 fucking cookies.
I love it. Cassie, I'm sorry, how many fuckable grandpas was it?
3.5 fuckable grandpas.
I honestly feel really bad about the half of it.
Yeah, can we dissect that for a second?
Yeah,
I think it's already been done.
That half is for the future grandpa that came back in the past in that creepy pajama gray outfit with those creepy eyes. Like, he only gets a half. He's not a full fuckable grandpa. Come on.
No, that's fair.
Look at the cover. No.
So you wouldn't fuck him. Okay, got it.
Not that one. Nope.
Me either. I hear you, girl.
Only the past, like, current teenager. That one is apparently okay, according to our main, heroine.
She thinks
and
it's
then
fine.
Future one might be, but she didn't really tell us either way. So, but not the future one that comes back. That's bad. Future good one. Yeah. Anyways, they're all fuckable. So.
Well, I am going to torpedo our group average.
Oh no.
And I'm giving it 2.
I mean, some people just hate fun, I guess.
I guess. I guess that's me this week. Hating
we had
fun.
Baked goods. We had sexy grandpas.
Right.
We had like a girl who had her own agency and liked to go out and get it. And you give it 2.
We had a book whose plot was abandoned 2/3 of the way in and modified to be something else that doesn't make sense with the original plot. I'm sorry, I'm reviewing it on a scale of quality.
Well, my answer would definitely change if we're talking about quality.
Well,
no. Keep your 5.
I'm judging it based on all the other pikes we've reviewed, and it is just barely better than Slumber Party.
What?
Just barely.
What?
Would
We
it
go into the snow for sexy time.
would it have been better if
know.
they really did catch her on fire?
You know what would have been better?
While they were having sex.
Yeah.
If first of all, if the eternal enemy wasn't fear, and second, if it had actually been a book about the future being taped on VHS tapes, that would have been better. Then, yeah.
Yeah, I really wish it had more of an emphasis on the VCR topic.
Me.
I
mean, they did dwell a lot on VCRs.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess
I learned a lot about VCRs myself. Can
now
we
you
also
know
just...
how to pause it to watch Mel Gibson's butt.
When did Whisper of Death come out? Because can we just remark too on how the price of a VCR in here is about half, like how much she paid, $280. That's about half the price that the other girl paid for an abortion.
Right.
That's true.
Damn.
That's
wild. Whisper
wild.
of Death is 91.
This is 93. That's crazy.
2 years later.
Man,
Well,
abortions
2
were
years.
cheap back then, and VCRs
almost as
were
cheap
not.
as a VCR. Like, yeah, that doesn't seem right.
Well, guys,
I feel like one of those should be more.
We're getting in a serious conversation here now.
There's like a whole
yeah.
cleanup
Patrick
and
doesn't
like
know about the abortion
materials.
story.
Yeah, so there was another book, and one of Pike's other books, Patrick. That was one of the elements too, and they made a point to mention that an abortion for the girl cost $500, and we all were like, oh, I guess when we read that as a young kid, we just
that's what
automatically assumed that was right. Yeah, because in my head, I thought it was $500 flat, and now I read this $200 VCR, and I was like, wait a minute, $200 $280 for a VCR, $500 for an abortion. Like, you really have to make your choices as a teen in the early 90s.
You can't have both.
Yeah,
It's a VCR or an abortion.
Unless you have like the future ability, and then you can play.
Yeah, you can make $20,000 that actually doesn't have a point to being made in the story at all.
Why was it there? I thought it was $2,000 for a while too, and I was like, "What's the point of this?" And then I realized $20,000. I was like, "This isn't a big deal. Like, come on."
If I had a psychic VCR, you bet your buns I would go gambling with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would save lives like a
do.
fucking superhero.
So, I mean, I'm just going to point out, I'm looking at our episode tracking, and you both have given a lot more 2s than I have. So I'm not going to be taking shit for giving this one a 2. Let me be clear.
That's fair. That's fair. We'll accept your 2.
Yeah.
I mean, one
2.
of us will.
Wait, what did you give it? 2 what?
2 pikes. There's no accoutrements at all. It's 2 lonely pikes standing.
Couldn't even give him 2 VCRs?
No.
Raylas. I relish. I forgot.
2 mutilated relishes, please.
They're standing in front of Circuit City.
Yes. Okay.
Is that like Best Buy, by the way? I was going to ask that earlier, but you guys were
vibing. Circuit City was a little bit more of like if you combined Radio Shack and Best Buy.
Yeah.
It was a little more techie. Like you could go in and build a computer there. You pick out the elements you want. Yeah.
Okay. I got you. That sounds cool. Is that the one with the giant plug?
Yes. That was Circuit City.
I remember the plug. I like that.
Circuit City.
Where service was state of the art.
Selling is service. And service is selling. Have you guys seen that video? I'm going to send it to you later. Never mind.
I have not.
Sorry.
That's all right.
This
is yes.
That we've been off track a lot today. However, we are still around an hour and a half mark, I think. Because the first time we recorded it was like 20 minutes, and now we're at 1 hour and 12 minutes. We're doing great, fam.
Patrick, will you tell our listeners where they can find you and your work online?
Okay, sure. I am on Twitter mainly at PRMCDONOUGH. It's PR McDonough. And you can follow me or my podcast at dead_headspace. Also on Twitter, where you can find any other information on that show there. So check it out sometimes. We got the PikeCast, episode 40. We also got Cassie on an earlier episode. I forget which one that is.
One of them.
Did you talk about your dislike of milk, or is that exclusive to the PikeCast?
I think that was just for the PikeCast. That and my pig story.
That was exclusive for the PikeCast.
Exclusive, yes. Well, thank you, Patrick. Cassie, where can we find more of you online?
Sorry, I didn't want to do that during Patrick talking.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. I have a blog. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Pat. You can find me on my blog, letsgetgalactic.com. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram, both as CTRLALTCASSIE. And you can also find me under my Bookstagram account on Instagram, which is at Reading in a Prism. I also have an Etsy shop where I sell books and resin items and bookmarks and a bunch of other things. So you can check that out at etsy.com/shop/letsgetgalacticart.
Okay. I think you have a new book you just released, right?
I do, yeah. I have pre-orders available now for the Final Girls coloring book and activity book, and it has 20 different Final Girls from movies and fun things like trivia and like crossword puzzles and word searches and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Becca, how about you?
I have a blog that can be found at astoldbybex.wordpress.com, where I mostly talk about books, and then I have a Twitter, which is also As Told by Bex, and I have a Bookstagram, which is Read with Bex.
You trailed off like you were going to continue with something else.
I couldn't remember if there was anything else, but
you can find me at coopersbeckett.com and at Cooper S. Beckett on all the social media, and Beckett Arts for my art stuff. I'm going to just issue a blanket warning to stay away from Twitter if you don't want to hear my political ravings. It got heated last week. So just don't even bother.
Well, yeah, for good reason.
Well, yeah, it's been a time. Cassie, where can our listeners find our show?
You guys can find us on all social media at the PikeCast. We'd really like it if you'd share your Pike books with us and use the hashtag #ShowUsYourPike. We're on Patreon as well, and that helps us keep the show going and supports things like transcription and a lot of other fun stuff that you can get, including early access to the shows. And we also have a Goodreads group where you can join and follow along with our reading.
I want to shout out to the Season of Passage Instagram account, because they in their stories, they just blanket went down the episode and agreed or disagreed. It was great. I absolutely enjoyed that very much.
Yeah, I love to see the interaction because we've got Becca's friend Jack. She also does the interacting, like the live tweeting, and I love seeing that.
And
it's so much fun. Yeah. Yes. Okay, listeners.
Is that your best friend? Sorry.
That is the love of my life, the apple of my eye.
Sorry, which one? Who's your what?
Yes,
best
Jack
friend?
My
was
best
it?
Friend, yeah.
Jack is your best friend? Okay.
Wait.
Was that Jack?
Wait.
Becca, I think Cassie wanted to be your best friend.
No, I was just teasing her, to be fair.
Okay.
Wait, what?
But I'm a best friend too. I'm a best friend. No, but I Jack has had that status much longer, so I accept it. Jack is amazing.
I love you too, though, just so you know.
It's okay. I love you too. Thanks.
Fight.
Oh.
You never know what can happen on the podcast.
No, I thought, so to be fair, I thought Patrick was teasing you because he was like, who's your best friend? Was it Jack? So I just kept doing what he was doing.
No, I was being serious.
Oh, I thought we were just repeating it. I'm sorry.
No.
Wow. Wild episode here. Listeners, your homework for next time is 1991's Bury Me Deep. I don't believe I've read this one.
Yes!
So I'm finally going to find out who Mike is, because in that Mike tombstone that is on the cover of Bury Me Deep, and it just says Mike. And that's it. That's all that's on the tombstone.
I'm excited.
So I'm looking forward to
it must be
to
Mike.
discover who Mike is.
Mike.
So check it out. And thank you for joining us on the PikeCast.
See you next time.
Bye.
You survived the night, friends. You can peek out from under your covers and see the first blues of dawn out the window. Thanks for spending the night with the PikeCast, and we hope you'll join us again next time. Until then, Pikers, pleasant dreams.
How old is he? Kevin McFadden.
I had that information. Let me Google it, and then I'm going to cut out the part where I Google it, so it sounds like I just know.
Trixie.
Yeah.
Let's see. He was born in New York City in 55.
Oh, okay.
So that makes him 66, right?
Is that right? I'm just bad. Cooper's trying to count. I don't know. Is that right? What's up?
Are you
Google.
sure? Are you...
Math.
How
numbers.
old is someone who was born in 1955?
Oh God, I'm glad it's not just me here.
I'm not good with math either.
I know. I'm so bad.
66. Okay, I was right.
Man, you got it right.
Always.
Google just confirmed it. Okay, shut up, Google. I don't want you involved anymore.
No more. We're finished with you.
I mean, I like, I would throw parties to watch these things, so I needed good equipment to watch it,
Wait, do you guys really have commercials?
Yeah, well, I mean, we do have a commercial break, yeah.
Because, I've heard a few episodes, but I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, there's a commercial in the middle.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
I'll just be sitting right here.
I know. I'm not going anywhere either. I'll keep you company.
Thank you.
Man, I wonder how much my dad paid for a VCR when I was 10. If he paid $200, I'm gonna laugh.
It's wild to me because, I buy them at Goodwill now for like $2. So,
Yes.
yeah.
That's crazy.
I definitely don't have a Blu-ray
realized-
player though, because I still won't pay for that. I just have my PlayStation.
No, yeah, same. I think that's weird too, because like, I mean, even a lot of people wouldn't even have anything now. They would just watch stuff online. So
Right.
all those poor VCR companies just out of business left and right.
I hope they found something new to do.
Yeah.
Moved on.
I don't
Maybe they're
remember in the book
Blu-ray
they listed some. He was like, oh, it's this brand, and I was like, I've never heard of that brand that he's selling to her. Oh no.
players. It can't be good. Wait, okay, so this is probably like something I should talk about like when we're actually talking about it, but like now that I think about it, did the VCR have something to do with it, like that particular VCR, or would it have happened like with any VCR?
I think it would have been anything. I think it was just
Okay.
like, yeah, I think it was just like a means to an end for her to unlock her memories or something, or like her abilities.
Okay.
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
Hello, it is me,
Hello.
Cass Die.
I'm back as well.
Welcome
Hi,
back.
Cooper. Welcome back to the PikeCast. I'm sorry.
Have
Oh,
I
I'm
been
pulled
usurped?
up. Huh?
Becca's taken over now. She's going to be like the primary voice on the episodes. She's got
Do
her
it.
fancy
I'm-
headset.
I'm
and
on
she's
board
like,
with
hey.
that.
Welcome to the PikeCast with my co-hosts Cooper and Cass. It's our special guest Patrick.
Everyone's very wacky tonight.
I am so tired. I've been in a grumpy mood and I was really sleepy all day. And then just like, I think laughing about this stupid shit in the book was like cheered me up. So.
Cass and I
helps,
was
yeah.
like, I'm tired. I don't want to read the back of the book or ask the
I
question.
legit,
Can you
I was
do it?
like,
Now she's
Becca,
talking.
please. Yeah.
No, I mean the other thing. I was making. I'm tired. I was asking a dumb joke.
Oh, were you being funny? I'm sorry. That went over my head. It wasn't, I don't know how successful that joke was.
Oh, that's okay.
No, and Cassie, I know you didn't intend it this way, but that totally sounded like, oh, were you being funny?
No, I wasn't sure that was a joke. I didn't know.
You're a little slap happy, I think.
So sassy and without meaning to be.
Has Cassie been smoking the weed?
Look,
I mean, she didn't say no. She said, look.
not since we started recording. So
Nice. I wish I could smoke.
All right. Well, let's bring it back. And
are you eating?
I am.
Is it a donut?
No, it's Nilla wafers, so it's close.
Oh, I want a donut.
I want a donut too. There's nothing I want more right now than a donut, honestly.
Same.
Sounds.
Do you want me to bring us back in? Since I'm the new
If you'd
host.
like to,
Becca is Cooper today.
as long as you don't introduce Casty.
It's pronounced Cass Die.
Okay, I'm sorry.
More
I'll
threatening.
try not to make them as
Casti.
Okay. Are you guys ready? We're bringing it back in, guys. Okay. Welcome back to the PikeCast. Now we're talking about remote. I can't do it.
Yeah, it's not so easy, is it?
Cooper's just like staring at us with a smirk, and he's like, "Yep."
Go ahead, host.
I dropped my headphone. Sorry, guys. My earbud fell out of my ear.
Okay, I'll bring us back.
No, wait. I want to try one more time. Don't give up on me.
That's fine.
All right. Whew. Welcome back to the PikeCast, where I can't do it.